As we think about what it is that we need to prepare ourselves for future threats, it's important that we look back and understand just the events of the last decade, which very much point out that the threats that we are likely to face are always different than the threats that we've faced. We've been ill prepared for these threats. We haven't had the right diagnostic tools, the right therapeutic tools. We haven't had vaccines that really allow us to bring them under control. Really, the holy grail is to be able to prepare yourself to respond at the family level, have vaccines that speak not just to a specific agent, but speak to the family of agents. Similarly, that have diagnostic capabilities that are far more adaptable and resilient, that allow us to be able to diagnose across a spectrum of potential threats. So the future is going to be a place where we need to throw out the old book of thinking about agent-specific interventions, and to be able to think about a toolbox that has the resilience and the adaptability to anticipate a very innovative and very adaptable Mother Nature. 3/4 of all new emergent diseases have their origin in animal reservoirs, and these are largely viral. And as we think about the future, as we go into the 21st century, it's the increasing interactions that are population-driven that will intensify the frequency with which those animal viruses will spill over, move from animal reservoirs into human populations. So as we think back over the last decade and think about SARS, when we think about MERS, we think about pandemic influenzas, we think about Zika, these are not accidents. They're a consequence of intensifying animal-human environmental interactions. When we think about our options as we go forward, the emergence and spillover of these viral threats are not inevitable. If we pay attention and we address our place on this earth much more carefully, we can prevent and reduce the risk of new viral agents from emerging. We know that the world is not equally distributed in terms of the risk of emergence. It really has to do with certain areas that we call hotspots, where we see the dynamics of interaction between animals, people, and environmental change that foster the emergence of new viral threats. By targeting those hotspots, to focus your efforts on surveillance, to identifying risks, that allows you to be much more strategic, much smarter, and much more impactful in terms of disrupting emergence and picking up early indications when emergence is occurring. It's really a question of exploiting the scientific and technological advances which have been made over the last decade, which have been extraordinary, that allow us to think differently about when and where and under what circumstances we address a viral threat.